Well, Merry Christmas, Wellspring Church. Man, I hope you've had a great day so far. I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this special day with you and your family. And this month at our church, we've been looking at the Christmas story, and we've been reflecting on its incredibly simple message of hope, joy, peace, and love. And our Wellspring kids have also been learning about this through their Simply Christmas kit. Now this year, Christmas is going to look different, and it's looked different for your family. But as we've been saying all month, the story has remained the same. And it's still as powerful today as it was the very first Christmas, which is why, for just a moment, we want to pause today to remember the message of Christmas. And there's honestly no better way to do that than to read the story of Christmas. And rather than me reading it to you, we thought it'd be really cool to have someone in your family read aloud the Christmas story. It's found in the book of Luke. You can actually read it right from your Bible. Or if you don't have one nearby, the text is actually going to be on the Wellspring app. So right now, why don't you go ahead, pause this video, and have someone read those verses aloud for your family. Now, when we read this story, you may notice there's a lot of people at the first Christmas. You had Mary, Joseph, shepherds, angels. You had all the townspeople that the shepherds told. And each of these people have unique stories that brought them to that stable in Bethlehem. But they also had something in common. All those years ago, they were celebrating a gift that was given. And we are celebrating that gift still today. Now, although they might not have understood exactly what that gift would mean to them, they knew they had been waiting a long time to receive it. See, hundreds of years before this moment in Luke, there were some prophets who told of this miraculous event. Now, prophets were simply men who told people messages that God had given them to share. And these prophets spoke with hope and joy about a Messiah who would eventually come to make things better. A Messiah who would rescue them. Now, when this message was shared with the people of Israel, they were living in captivity and as exiles from their homeland. So when they heard this, they must have imagined that God was going to send a mighty warrior to fight for them. A mighty warrior to give them a better life, a king to rule them better than all the kings that had treated them so poorly. And so when the angels told Mary and Joseph and these shepherds that the rescuer had arrived, I'm sure they were a little shocked to see the wrapping that God had chosen to give this gift. Now, have you ever received a gift that didn't look like much? Maybe it was wrapped with a nice big bow, but it was also in a grocery bag. Or maybe it wasn't even wrapped at all. And just the wrapping made you confused and maybe even disappointed. But then you opened it and you were surprised, thankful. See, sometimes special gifts that come in odd wrapping tend to be better because of what's inside. Or sometimes they're better simply because of who gave us the gift. Well, I think that's exactly what Mary and Joseph experienced when Jesus was born. And I imagine it was the same for those who would meet Jesus over the course of his lifetime. So today, we celebrate an amazing gift because we know the rest of the story, but to those that met Jesus over 2,000 years ago as a baby, the warrior king that they were waiting for, that's not what Jesus was. Jesus looked different than they'd expected. But, see, he was better than they could have imagined because God had sent his greatest gift wrapped in a vulnerable package. It was so vulnerable, in fact, that 33 years after his birth, Jesus would be arrested and sentenced to death by the oppressive government that his people thought he would rescue them from. See, they've been waiting for better because that's what God had promised them. But they were not celebrating that promise on the day that their supposed warrior king was nailed to a cross. But see, little did they know that the gift was finally ready to be opened because Jesus came to bring them better than peace in a governmental system. He came to free them from more than just the Roman rule. The gift of his life, his death, and his resurrection was better than they were expecting because it rescued them and us from death. See, this gift was better because it would last for eternity. And when I think about the men and women who met Jesus on the night of his birth or throughout his life, See, I believe we have something in common with them. See, sometimes we also get so wrapped up in the packaging of the gift that we miss out on the promise of the gift. When better doesn't look the way we thought it would, or the way we hoped it would, it's easy for us to miss the promise of better that Jesus brings. But see, I have good news for you. No matter how many times you've heard this story, or how many times you thought you figured out exactly who Jesus is, he is still so much more than we can imagine, because he is God's love, joy, and peace delivered to bring us hope that better is possible. So this Christmas, I want to encourage you to take some time as a family and discuss what you love about Christmas. And don't be afraid to talk about the hard parts. Talk about some of the things that maybe weren't what you expected this year. And talk about the parts where you recognized that Jesus' love made things better. I know Christmas may look different this year, but the gift we celebrate today is God's love for you, and that has never changed. I want to thank you for spending some time with me this morning. And Danielle and I want to both wish you a very Merry